we gonna do it low for all my Spanish fans out there. Oh, Chavez Jr., Chavez Jr. Before I talk about him, let's talk about something good for a moment. Can I get a round of applause? Let's do a couple of claps. Why am I clapping? I'm clapping because of Danny Jacobs. Jacobs wore Pat Day and then on the back of his trunks all day on his boxing trunks, as I said. And I really like that he's showing respect, remembrance for his fallen friend. And I thought that was a really nice touch for him to have on his boxing shorts. And I actually would like to see him keep that phrase on all of his pants from here on forward in fighting. Um, as far as Chavez Jr. goes, this is the thing with him. Okay, you can't create a fighter. You can teach somebody how to fight, but if they weren't born to fight, they'll never be a fighter. Let me say that again. You can teach somebody how to fight, but if they weren't born a fighter, they will never be a fighter. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no maybes. And when the tables are low, when everything's against you, that's when you find out if you're really a fighter. And Chavez, on multiple occasions, has just given up from faking a knee injury to now having a broken hand. I'm not going to say his hand's not broken. We'll find out if x-rays come out. But if they don't, then here you go again, another faked injury because he was losing. He was down. I didn't expect him to do well anyways, just because he had been out the ring for so long. They said he only had one round of boxing since he fought Canelo. Crazy. 2 going on 3 years this man's been out of the ring. Crazy. So my thing is this. It's hard to say you need to go out there and get knocked out because you're not the one getting hit. But when I think about myself, I would have to get knocked out. I'm not going to fake injury. I'm not going to give up. Hell, just take that punch and go down. You are already getting beat. You are already losing. If you want to give up in a fashion that looks like you didn't give up. Take that lick, drop to the mat, play the role that you got knocked out, get up. At least then you can have a appearance of having pride for yourself. But just to give up, I don't agree with it. And even over a broken hand, like broken hands are a common thing in boxing. And the thing with a broken hand is there's nothing wrong with your hand that keeps you from throwing a punch. The only thing that's stopping you is the pain. But as far as physical harm, you're not normally 90% of the time going to be in physical harm. It's just going to hurt. And the more you punch with that broken hand, the number it will become. Now, can you fight through that pain? Maybe not. Who am I to say that he should keep fighting? But I will bring up somebody. And what I mean by a fighter is born, not taught. Deontay Wilder. He broke his hand. What did he do? He continued to fight. He continued to throw it until the fight was won. Whenever he's hurt, whenever he's down, he's never given up. He keeps fighting. Technically, not the best fighter. Maybe not even a good fighter because his resume is weak. Will he fight harder opponents from here on? I don't know. We will see. Tyson Fury is a step in the right direction. Now, back to the fight. Another problem that you have is you cannot force your kids to be you or live the dream that you wanted to do. In other words, just because you were successful at boxing, maybe you were good, known through your hood, through your block, through your trailer park, wherever you come from, for being able to throw hands. Just because you showed an ability on whatever level you're on, whether it's in the streets, in the amateurs, in the professionals, in any type of combat sport, just because you were good at it doesn't mean your kids will. And if your kids have the right attributes to be good at it, their heart's not in it, they're not going to train for it, and they're just not going to succeed at it at a certain level. They're going to fall off no matter how talented they are because they're not really putting their all into it. That's the thing. And fighting is not for everybody. Some people enjoy it, some don't. It's hard to want to fight when the whole saying is when you wake up on silk sheets. It's very hard to get out of the morning and want to train for all them hours with silk sheets. I got silk sheets on my bed. I would still fight, but that's not the point. The bottom line is Chavez's dad needs to talk with his son and let his son know he's not a failure. It's just boxing isn't for him. His dad was a great fighter, a legend, but his son just did not pan out. And the real reason I believe Chavez did not pan out and is not panning out is because he doesn't have his heart in the sport. You saw it when he fought Canelo and they was doing it 24/7. This dude would come to the gym at like 11 o'clock at night, train for a few hours, do whatever the fuck he was going to do, and not show up till the next night. Every time they set a schedule for him to be there, he didn't show up on that schedule. That's an issue. You, like I said, no matter how talented you are at a certain level, you're going to come across people who might not be as talented, but they're close. And because they have that extra drive and that will, they're going to win because they're already close. And their will and drive closes the gap. If you don't have a fighting spirit, then you don't need to be in fighting. Period. It doesn't matter how strong you are, how hard you can hit, how fast you can move, how agile you are, how good you can time somebody. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you might look good against opposition that doesn't fight back. That's not when it's going to be shown if somebody's a fighter or not. The issue is when you have somebody in front of you who won't break, who won't move, who no matter how hard you hit them, they keep pushing forward. And when they push forward, they're throwing back just as hard as you. They're throwing back more punches than you. You're starting to get hurt worse than you've ever been, hit more than you've ever been. And you've got to come to that realization in your head. Are you going to give up or are you going to fight? That's how you know if somebody's a real fighter. When their talent is being outclassed and they give up, that was never a fighter, because a true fighter in their heart, their spirit, and their soul will never give up. They will not give up. That's why I reflect on Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, we have seen him hurt, and he will not give up. We have seen him outbox for 12 straight rounds and still knock Fury down and not give up. And what did we see with Fury? We saw Fury get hit by a signature right, hit by a left hook, put down. Everybody thought he was dead. He rose from the grave like a zombie and kept going because that's a fighter. He's got a fighting spirit with him. Fighters don't give up. They fight. In fact, that's the definition of fighting. You fight. Again, Chavez Jr. had a lot of potential. He probably still has a lot of potential, but his heart's obviously not in it. When he's down and hurt or getting beat on, he doesn't have the will to want to push through it to try to win. He will quit. And if he quits, that is the opposite of being a fighter. Jacobs, in this fight, looked good, but it's not hard to look good against a guy who hasn't fought in 2 years. It's really not that hard to do. The one thing I can say, Jacob didn't look as hard punching, and he didn't look that dominant at this weight class. Now, granted, Chavez busted weight. He came in as a cruiserweight, close to probably 200 pounds, sitting in front of Jacobs. So that's a lot of mass to beat on, but you got to think a lot of fighters at this weight are going to be 185, 195 when they rehydrate anyways. So this is the size of the people he is fighting. This is the normal weight of the people he is going to be fighting. I didn't see a lot of power from him. And like I said, this was the perfect setup for him. It was a big name because you're going to pull Mexicans, Spanish people in general because of Chavez's dad. He's always got a huge following, no matter how fluky his fights have been. And he hasn't fought in a long time. And Jacobs, this was the time for him to really shine real good. and I just didn't see it. I love Jacobs. Everybody knows I picked Jacobs over Canelo, and Canelo came in there and schooled Jacobs, which surprised me because Canelo showed movements we haven't seen him show. But in this fight, I was not impressed by Jacobs because I felt like he should have been more dominating. It should have been more tilted in his favor against Chavez, especially Chavez only was throwing punches maybe for 15 seconds every round after the second round. Like he was just barely throwing punches. He was like Adrian Broner with his guard up and not fighting back. And that's a punching bag right there. You can't be dominant on a punching bag that's just standing still and moving towards you, then I don't know how well you're going to do at that weight class. I need to see more from Jacobs before I can actually say if he's going to be successful or not. I like Jacobs again. I will retouch on the fact that I really love how he held it down for his friend Patrick Day with his shorts. I want to see that in Broder on every pass that he wears in the ring. I thought that was a nice touch. I'm very tired, y'all. My eyes are red. I couldn't watch this fight live. I had to watch it on a replay. So that's why I'm coming out so late with this. But to end this video, I don't believe Chavez broke his hand. He might have. I'm not going to say 100% he didn't because with the Dillian White thing, I stayed neutral till the facts came out. I don't like deeming somebody guilty until they're proven guilty. But knowing his track record, I would say more than likely he just pulled out because he started getting beat up and he didn't want to stand there and fight. He got his paycheck and now he's done. To some people, a paycheck is worth more than legacy, and to others, a legacy is worth more than a paycheck. So it is what it is. All in all, it was a decent card, I guess. Actually, I don't even know if the card was good because I didn't watch it. Let me stop lying. I really wanted to see Rosado fight. I didn't get to see Rosado fight, and I didn't get to see any of the undercards fight. But again, it was a good match to see what Jacobs would look like while it lasted. I wasn't impressed throughout the entire fight. Thank y'all for watching. And I hate to have to say this, but I'm going to keep saying it at the end of all my videos. If you like what you heard, please give this video a thumbs up as it helps my channel grow. And if you really liked it, go ahead and sub because that helps me out the most. Thank y'all again for watching.